Famous for their high quality of care, Brentworth Care Centers frequently rank among the top healthcare providers in the UAE for both patient health, customer happiness, and even cost. Many swear by their services, which include standard medical care, cosmetic surgery, and cybernetic replacements. Yet some insurance companies have complained of the care center's inflated prices and accuse them of artificially raising the cost of service. Some insurers have even recently threatened to refuse claims for the expensive hospital. However, it seems unlikely that there will be a change anytime soon, as these steep prices align with Dr. Jalil Brentworth's vision for the care centers that carry his name. In an interview with Terra Gazette, Dr. Brentworth defended the premium cost by saying, "My philosophy is that treating the primary medical issue is only part of the process. Rehabilitation is a full-body experience, so I built my care centers around exactly that, providing the mind and body the comfort and care it needs to heal itself. And that additional care comes at a cost." Jalil Brentworth was born on Earth in 2829. He led a happy and privileged childhood until his older brother, Sajid, was diagnosed with a rare liver disease. Jalil watched Sajid suffer through several experimental treatments before receiving an artificial liver. The implant restored Sajid to the energetic and intellectually curious older brother that Jalil adored. But over time, Sajid's body slowly rejected the new liver. Doctors attempted to correct Sajid's condition with several courses of suppression therapy and nerve reconstruction, but it proved to be too much for the strain on Sajid, who died a few weeks later in the hospital. The loss devastated Jalil, but inspired him to study medicine profusely. He attended the University of Earth at Australia, UEA, where he developed a keen interest in the nervous system. He became particularly fascinated with axons, nerve fibers that conduct electrical impulses, and wrote several research papers on ways to potentially improve how cybernetic implants and artificial organs connect and communicate within the body. The work drew the attention of UEA researcher Dr. Ariel Roix, who was studying ways to reverse nerve degeneration, a leading cause of implant failure. The two joined forces and began conducting simulated trials of the new surgery methods Brentworth proposed in his papers. The initial experiments showed promise, so after receiving his doctorate, Brentworth decided against opening a medical practice. Instead, he joined the UEA as part of Dr. Roix's research team as a surgical specialist. After years of experimental procedures, Dr. Brentworth became dismayed with the progress. In most cases, there was no measurable difference between the implant's performance in their participants compared to current medical standards. The exception being several groups whose surgeries were done aboard a ship stationed in low gravity. Professor Roix became convinced that low gravity somehow helped the nervous system form a stronger graft to the implants. But Dr. Brentworth wasn't convinced. He noted participants' biometric data also showed lower heart rates and blood pressure that indicated they were more relaxed before and after the procedures. A difference he attributed to the participants relaxing in luxury accommodations aboard the ship while traveling to and from the location. Remembering how stressed his brother had been during his extended time in the hospital, Dr. Brentworth wanted to perform the next set of surgeries in standard gravity conditions, with the patients given resort-quality rooms to relax in pre- and post-op. But Professor Roix rebuffed the proposal to focus on more low-gravity experiments. A rift grew between the two, and not long after, a amicable split between the two. At least that's what's said in public. Dr. Brentworth moved to New York City, where his partner had landed a job advising a senator. In 1862, he received a substantial investment from his parents to open the first Brentworth Care Center, built around the core tenet that the level of comfort and care received throughout the treatment was equally as important as the procedure itself. Dr. Brentworth brought in award-winning architect and design firm Lobby Ross to make the treatment centers equal to the finest of resorts. Business was slow to begin with until his partner Darren convinced a Senate security officer to get her malfunctioning cybernetic leg looked at by Dr. Brentworth. Other doctors had told her a new leg was the only fix, but Dr. Brentworth was convinced a small procedure could strengthen the current graft. He was right, and word quickly spread among the Senate security staffers that not only could Dr. Brentworth perform miracles, but that a stay at his facilities were better than some hotels. This notoriety quickly grew and eventually landed him his biggest patient yet, Senator Linda Beckley, who suffered horrific burns on half of her body following a very rare ship accident. The skin grafts were so good that only those in her inner circle knew she had them. Still, once word spread to politicians, power brokers, and celebrities that Dr. Brentworth did outstanding work and prioritized privacy, business bloomed. Even the care center itself tripled in size. Demand was so strong that appointments were scheduled months in advance. Soon, powerful investors were scheduling appointments to get work done just for the opportunity to convince Dr. Brentworth to let them help him grow the brand. Dr. Brentworth initially rejected expansion due to concerns over controlling the quality of care. He'd become a notorious micromanager, and even though he didn't perform all of the procedures, he could still oversee and advise at a moment's notice. After fielding numerous investment offers, Dr. Brentworth saw the potential and decided to do it himself. He started small by opening additional Brentworth care centers on Earth. This allowed him to personally pick each location, oversee their designs, and interview each and every staff member that was hired, and once open, be only a comm call away. These new locations were quickly booked months in advance, and the decision was made to expand to more locations in the Sol system. To expedite the expansion, Dr. Brentworth, the brightest minds in the verse, to establish exacting standards for his care centers. No details were too small. From ensuring the right plants were selected for the lobby, to specifying the color temperature of lighting in recovery rooms, all future Brentworth care centers would be built to these high standards. Dr. Brentworth established similarly strict criteria regarding medical procedures, specifically calling out certain biometric benchmarks patients needed to reach prior to a procedure and before being released. Additionally, the center's profits were reinvested into seeking out the latest medical advances and training his staff in how to use them. Notoriously, Dr. Brentworth spent billions upgrading all the medical scanners twice in the same year after newer, slightly more accurate models were released. He claimed that the UEC was nothing compared to relaxing the clients more and helping them heal and knowing they were getting the best possible care he could offer. It did not take long for Brentworth Care Centers to rise across many systems of the empire. By the early 2900s, many other practices tried to replicate the care center's brand of luxury medicine, but none would ever match Brentworth in prestige and popularity. In 2917, Dr. Jaleel Brentworth retired and died shortly thereafter, at a relatively young age of 87. His partner revealed posthumously that Jaleel had suffered from chronic kidney disease and had decided against receiving artificial replacements, joking that the only person he'd ever trust the procedure to be done by correctly was himself. While the man may have slowly faded from public consciousness over the years, Brentworth Care Centers will still continue to carry his name far into the future, and stand as a testament to the high quality of care and meticulous dedication to detail that makes some of the best medical facilities around possible. Thank you for hanging out for this reading of Brentworth Care Centers. This was originally written in Jump Point 9.7. It's an older jump point. It was just released on the CIG website on June 8th at one of the Comm-Links. If you want to see more of this type of content, first of all, like and subscribe, all that nonsense. But more importantly, if you'd like to see this written or in other methods, you can always subscribe as a community subscriber on the RSI website. I'll have the link down below. And I'd like to see more of this from CIG. These type of older content brought out into the light, and more of this published a lot more often. I've always felt that the subscriber jump points are fantastic. It's like a digital magazine. And the frustration has always been for me that this content should not be locked for years behind the subscriber wall. This should be something that the subscribers have for a while and then it's released. Once again, thanks for hanging out this long if you are.